And we are live! Hello everybody and welcome to the Dark Horse Indycar Series Season 2, Race 10 here at the Donington Park Circuit, where Nick DeGroot is going to attempt to lock up his championship one race early, and Craig Forsythe is going to attempt to make a late season charge at the championship. Hello everybody, I am Jonathan Oates, and joining me today in the broadcast booth is Thomas Fisher. Thomas, how are you doing tonight?
I'm very well, Jonathan. How about yourself?
I'm doing very well as well. Taking a look at the point standings coming into race 10 here at Donington, the second road course race of the season. Nick DeGroot, leaving today, would need a 56-point lead over Craig Forsythe in order to secure the championship a race early. That does mean that Nick DeGroot's championship at this point is looking all but certain. However, it's not entirely out of the question that Craig Forsythe will be able to close up in these next two races. We have now gotten confirmation the Indianapolis 500 is not a double points race, so it's definitely, it's going to be close between Forsythe and DeGroot. And if I'm being honest, I don't think Forsythe quite has a chance, but if there's any race that he's going to be able to beat him, it's going to be here. We've seen in the past that Craig Forsythe is incredibly fast at road courses, especially road courses like Donington, which are fast and flowing, and those are all characteristics of Donington. Speaking of which, we are actually going to go trackside, or rather than trackside, we are going to do something a little special here. We are actually going to go live to Thomas Fisher, who is currently out on track. And he's going to give us a little tour of this pretty small circuit without that, because we are currently at the national layout, so that last little, I don't even know what to call it, it's like a section where you go into a chicane, followed by a hairpin, then another hairpin. That section has been entirely cut out. Thomas will show you all that once we get it loaded up. I'm going to do my best to actually get this to work. Thomas, while I'm doing that, please entertain the viewers. Oh, ignore the ominous black screen.
Yep, we good?
We are all good, just please ignore the ominous black screen.
All right, yeah. So this is, of course, the national layout of Donington. So for those who know the Donington layout, at the end of Starkey Straight, instead of taking the left-right chicane through the S's, you take a right-left chicane, bypassing the Melbourne hairpin section. So this race should be super entertaining because of, obviously, those high-speed corners in the Craner curves, which should prove for some interesting side-by-side battles.
I don't think this worked like I thought it would. Yeah, alright, well, you know what, Thomas? As it turns out, we are not going to go to you. We are instead going to go to me. So we're going to cut away for just a moment, and we'll be right back with me out on track. I don't know if Thomas trusts me to do this, but we're going to do our best. And we're back live. You join us out on the track with me as the driver instead of Thomas, because I thought it was going to be possible for me to stream his perspective. I guess not. So, we're going to take a look at some of the trouble spots on this track, just rolling out of pit road now. By the way, the entrance to pit road, very, very difficult to get right, and I think we're going to see a couple of drivers mess it up. First thing we're going to have a look at is turn 1. This turn right here, it's deceptively tight. The exit here is a lot narrower than you might think, and in the race, we're going to see, especially in qualifying too, when drivers are pushing, we're going to see a lot of drivers going out wide. Next, there's this little S section which leads down to the next braking zone. This entire section is going to be flat out in the race then. Looking for that whiteboard on the left-hand side. This corner right here, deceptively slow. You really need to back the car down into about second gear, and if you get everything right, you should be right along these exit curbs on exit. If you don't get everything right, well, you're going to be somewhere around here, missing the corner entirely, and we're going to see quite a few drivers end up doing that. It's a very challenging corner to get right. All the way flat out once again. We're a ghost car, so no one can hit us. All the way flat out once again towards this little hill here. It's very, very small, but you're going to want to brake nice and early to try and get a good exit and set yourself up for the blind hairpin coming up next over to the right, keeping it on the curves and on exit. If you got everything right, you should be right along these exit curves. Next is this blind right-hander. Because it's uphill, you're going to be able to brake a lot later than you might think. Get the car turned in as early as you can to try and get along these curbs, and then on exit, you're going to be able to gas it up pretty quickly. The way the exit is, it's a lot more curved, so you're going to have a lot more room to kind of get the power down, open up the steering, and get back along this straight. Then, this is the difference that Thomas is talking about between the National and Grand Prix layout. With the Grand Prix layout, right here, you would take a left turn through this chicane and go to a little hairpin section, but we are not going to be doing that in the race. Instead, we are going to be taking a right turn into this final chicane, backing the car down into first or second gear, getting back on the power as early as you can, but avoiding those red sausage curbs, trying to get out of these exit curbs here. Watch the little hill on exit. It might unsettle the car if you're not careful. Back to the main straightaway, and that is going to be a lap around Donington. Now, obviously, that was not at race speed, but if it was, then I don't know what I would think of myself. That would be a very, very slow lap indeed. All right, back in the broadcast booth, few minutes remaining in practice. We're going to take a look at a couple of these drivers going through on their laps. At the moment, it is Alexander Van de Sant at the top of the board with a lap time of 53.126, 5/10 ahead of Matt Wagner in second place with a 53.614. So these lap times well under a minute here at Donington. We're going to try and go on board here with Matt Wagner. Right now, he is heading into that final chicane. Thomas, of what you've seen of practice so far, what do you make of these drivers' performances?
I mean, I think especially drivers like Alexander Van de Sant are going to be super happy with their performances. Obviously, Alexander right towards the top of practice right now. But, you know, I have a feeling that practice won't be telling the full story. Perhaps some drivers, kind of like what we saw at Watkins Glen, won't be showing their full potential necessarily right now, but will be holding that back for a little bit later on in the race.
Yeah, definitely. I think that a lot of drivers, they might just be trying to get through practice, trying to learn the track. It's a very, very difficult track to get right. I mean, you can just see it on board here with the 99. There is basically no runoff. I think if we go to a chopper cam, that should give you a much better idea of what I'm talking about. But basically, if you go off track, you're going to be in the grass, you're going to be in the gravel. It's not going to be pretty. In fact, I don't even think there is a corner that has any runoff. So it's going to be very, very difficult for these drivers to string together consistent. Oh, well, there's a little bit of runoff there. I don't know what Matt Wagner is doing, but that is certainly not the optimal line to take through the final chicane, unless he knows something we don't. Taking a look at a couple of other drivers here. Currently, most of them are on pit road, but I believe that's Joe McAdory going out for his laps. No, that might be AJ Hobson. Nope, he's not in the session. I don't know who that is. It's a red and white car. I don't recognize the paint scheme. But most of the drivers still just in pit road. A couple of drivers actually coming into pit road. You can see Jim Brooks there coming in from the left-hand side of your screen. Pretty small pit road as well, and you're going to see that pit road entrance very, very narrow in between. I'm going to try and see if we can get a good look at it here. Anyone coming through that section at the moment? Well, Johnson will be there in a little bit, because you'll be able to see here that the pit road entrance is very, very small, and these drivers are going to have to make a green flag pit stop at some point in the race, so it's definitely going to be a challenge for these drivers to get it back down and into the pit lane. Thomas, what do you think are going to be the keys to winning this race tonight?
Fuel management, tire management, definitely. I mean, as much as Donington isn't the most tire-heavy track in the road racing community, it definitely is higher wear than tracks like Watkins Glen, because obviously we have, as you can see Charles Johnson going through them now, you have the Craner curves, then you have the old hairpin, and then obviously you have Barclays Bridge there.
Sorry, I just wanted to demonstrate the pit entrance there, because you can see coming into the pit entrance, there's, you don't have a lot of run into the pit entrance, so you're going to have to back it down quite early. Really exiting the chicane, you're going to have to try and get on the brakes pretty early. It's a very narrow pit entrance, and right here you got to split the gap between these tire barriers over to the right and this wall over to the left, so I have a feeling that we're going to see that come into play quite a bit tonight.
Yeah, we almost certainly will. As I was saying there, we have the sections like the Craner curves and the old hairpin. For those who don't know, the Craner curves are after turn one as you head down the hill, and the old hairpin is the sharp right-hander up the hill just after them. Those sections there, those are probably going to be the most tire intensive, along with some of the corners on the back half of the circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that so much of this race is just going to be avoiding mistakes. Not even avoiding them necessarily, trying to minimize them. We're probably going to see it in qualifying as well as drivers really try and push the limits, but there are just so many trouble spots around this track, and it's one of the things that make... Oh, hold on. There might be an issue here. Can you say something really quick?
I can. What's going on?
Okay, never mind. Sorry, for a second I thought that my headphones hadn't been connected and weren't recording, but that's just... no one was saying anything, and it just was completely silent. So, crisis averted, we're all good. Drivers lining up on pit road now. Alexander Van de Sant going out for his laps. But like I was saying, there are a lot of trouble spots on this track, and I think minimizing mistakes is going to be a huge theme of the night. I mean, even just watching Alexander Van de Sant go out here for his warm-up laps, I mean, you can see it's such a narrow track. I think overtaking is going to be, it's going to be easy in the sense that a lot of drivers are going to make mistakes, but it's going to be hard in the sense that there aren't a lot of heavy braking zones that you can really go for a pass, and there are a lot of sections where going offline is not going to be rewarded with a better exit or anything like that. It's just going to be slower. There's a really fine line here between trying to find an alternative line and getting a good run out of the corner, or making a good line into the corner and flat out making a mistake. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest themes of the night. Charles Johnson out for his lap as well. I believe he is currently on his out lap. Watching Alexander Van de Sant, though, I would definitely pencil him in as your pole sitter because he is very, very fast on these road courses.
Yep, as you were talking about some places to make moves, though, some places I would like to highlight that could be possible are definitely into Redgate. So Redgate is turn 1. I've seen moves both up the inside and around the outside, depending on the tire difference, as well into the old hairpin, if you can just slide one up the inside. McLean's, turn 7. If you can hold the inside through Starkey's Bridge, so turn 5 and turn 6, heading into turn 7, then it could be possible to have a run around the outside. Coppice, not really a good opportunity, and then obviously heading down into the S's, well, in this case, the right-left S's instead of the left-right S's, definitely under the brakes. You could probably get someone there.
Yeah, I think one thing you mentioned there about going around the outside or the inside, I think a big theme of this race is just going to be bravery. You know, do you have, are you able to just kind of conjure up the bravery to just send one down the inside and hope that the move sticks? Maybe even around the outside, or are you going to try and go for something more calculated? And I think both, there's nothing inherently wrong with either attempt, but I think that we're definitely going to see the approach of just kind of trying to send it and hope it works. I think we're going to see that one definitely prevail tonight. I think we're going to see a lot of drivers making some very bold, aggressive moves, especially into some of those corners that aren't quite heavy braking zones and are very difficult to get right. You might be able to catch someone off guard there. Alexander Van de Sant coming around to complete his first laps through the final chicane down into first or second, really just driver preference, over the slight hill, back to the line. We'll see what Alexander Van de Sant is able to set. It's going to be
53.3, straight to the top.
Nice
Almost
lap.
a second faster than the 131 of Craig Forsythe.
So a very fast lap by Alexander Van de Sant indeed. Headed through the first set of S's now towards that first kind of heavy braking zone. I hesitate to call it that because it's enough of a braking zone that it's noticeable, not quite enough of a braking zone that you're going to need to slow the car right down. Back over to the right, back over to the left, and setting himself up for this fast right-hander. It's a very, very fast lap here at Donington. Goes by in a flash. It's going to be a 50-lap race here, so just under an hour is going to be the race length. No cautions like we saw earlier this season at Watkins Glen. Van de Sant setting up for that final chicane. I think that's going to be potentially an overtaking maneuver if you're able to make it work. Clobbering those sausage curves on entry, but staying off them on exit. Alexander Van de Sant looking to back up his first lap with an even better second lap. It is going to be
52.7.
Wow.
That is fast.
Might just be the fastest lap that we've seen all day. I don't know if it's quite the fastest lap. It is?
It is.
Well, there you go.
Alexander Van de Sant's practice time was a 53.125, so he bests it by about, actually just under 0.4 of a second. That is crazy fast from Alexander Van de Sant, and quite frankly, I don't think anyone's going to be able to compare to it, as Nick DeGroot sets his first lap as a 54.472, and on his second lap now.
Yeah, we saw him struggle a little bit earlier this season at Watkins Glen. We know that Nick DeGroot, while he's not exactly the strongest on road courses, he can definitely hold his own. He can pretty much be fast at any track you put him on, any car you put him on. He is generally just pretty fast, but I think road courses are going to be one of the few races this season and next season where drivers are going to be able to really make a challenge at him. Into the blind hairpin now. We're not really a hairpin, just kind of a heavy right-hander. And opening up the steering, opening up the throttle, and headed towards that final chicane. Nick DeGroot looking to improve on his first lap.
Yeah, he looks as if he opened the steering up just a bit too quickly there through Coppice. So we're going to have to see, will that have hampered his lap? Comes across the line now and sets a 54.0. Only 0.4 of a second improvement should put him into second place. So 1.3 seconds, sorry, 1.25 seconds behind Alexander Van de Sant.
Matt Wagner on his lap now. We saw him in practice be very, very much pacey, if you will. I believe this is his first lap, not his out lap. He's going through that right-hander now and setting up for the blind corner.
No, it is his out lap.
This is his out lap? Alright, so he will be going for his first lap next time by. He's really been one of the only drivers who's gotten close to Alexander Van de Sant, so I have a feeling that he might be able to slot into second here. On the brakes hard for that final chicane, getting back on the throttle. You really got to be careful on that throttle because there's a little bit of a crest that's like right after that chicane, and if you hit it wrong, it's definitely going to unsettle your car.
Yep, let's have a look here at Matt Wagner's lap. So brakes really well into turn 1. Could have stayed further to the left on entry, but that's all right. Heading into the Craner curves now. Could have been tighter through the first bit. Same with the second and third corners of it into the old hairpin now.
Oh, that's going to be wide. That's going to be wide right there,
well.
yeah.
Yep, that is an invalidated lap. And you can see he looks as if he's backing off. No, he's not. I'm not sure if he's backing off. He's sort of taking it easier than he is. Nice run, though, right there through McLean's, heading up to Coppice now. Keeping it tight through Coppice. Different line to what we saw Nick DeGroot running just a minute ago. Heading down now into the S's, the right-left S's.
I call that
decent run through there. Yep. And across the line, that is going to be an invalidated lap. So he's going to come onto his second lap now. Bit further to the left this time on the entry into Redgate. And heading down now towards the Craner curves. There you go. Tighter on the first bit. Tighter on the second bit. Heading down now. Old airpin time.
Oh, very good line.
On the
very good line.
Yeah, very nice line. Through the old hairpin. We're going to have to look what's he going to be able to do heading up towards McLean's.
Nice wide entry.
Yeah,
nice
good run through
on the
McLean's.
exit. Good run through there.
Coppice is next. There you go, running out wider than did last time, carrying more speed, keeping it a little bit wide on exit. That can be okay, though. Can give you a little bit more speed. Heading down now into the right-left S's. Good run through there. Seems to have good acceleration, keeping the car nice and stable. He's going to come down now towards the line, moving over to the left-hand side of the racetrack. 53.8. Couldn't best his time in practice, but goes second.
Yeah, definitely a good lap by Matt Wagner. I do find it interesting that I call that final little bit of chicane, you call it the S's. So we're probably going to get everyone confused during the race talking about that. AJ Musselman on track
official name is the official name is the S's, but it's a chicane. So
okay, so the
make that as you will.
I don't know how to put those words together and have it sound good. Why don't we, instead of trying to do that, watch AJ Musselman sit on pit road and not move anywhere? This is truly the top, the highest of entertainment.
Yep, but Kristen Nelson is out on track.
Oh.
Never mind, nope, just a cool hand lap for her. Apart from that, I think everyone else is pretty much... Oh, no, Kofi Moore is coming around to finish his second lap. Out of the final corner, keeps it nice and steady, keeping it over to the right-hand side this time. Comes across the line and sets a 54.5, putting him 6th on the board, only moving him up 2 places.
So decent lap there by Kofi Moore. Right now your top 3, Alexander Van de Sant, Matt Wagner, Nick DeGroot, and Max Davies, Craig Forsythe in 5th. I gotta say, a little bit disappointed with Craig Forsythe after what he was saying after Motegi, that he was confident coming into this race because he tends to be better on the road courses. I figured that he might be able to make a charge at pole, but it's only 5th in qualifying at the moment. About a minute left, and I think that means that it would be a good opportunity for us to cut away, take a commercial break, and be right back with coverage of the race. Thomas, what do you say?
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome, race fans. This is Paul Page, the voice of IndyCar. And today we're excited to present another IndyCar event brought to you by the Dark Horse Indycar Series. From the Unzers to Mears, Foyt, and Andretti, now it's Corley, Peterson, Davies, Gardner, and Teague. You can expect high speeds, incredible wheel-to-wheel action, and intense drama that you can only get in an IndyCar. So sit back and enjoy your favorite drivers from all over the world take the track. Dark Horse IndyCar drivers, start your engines.
And we're back live here on TMG. Bit of a short pace lap, so I think that the admins have elected to go with the short pace lap. So not very long until we get this race underway. As I said at the beginning of qualifying, it'll be Alexander Van de Sant leading the charge towards turn number 1. Like we saw earlier this season at Watkins Glen, there will be no caution, so we will be going green until the end of the race. Only 50 laps. It's going to be a little bit of a short sprint here. Thomas, what are you expecting out of this race?
I mean, definitely given the fact that it is a shorter race. We say it's a shorter race, but relatively speaking, for a road course race, it is in that medium length area. We're getting towards the hour mark. It is going to be pretty close to that, depending on how many spins, mistakes, and likes of that we see. How much fuel saving as well. This might be a race of fuel saving, because perhaps, depending on how much fuel the drivers do have, I'm not entirely sure the perfect amount they have, but maybe they'll try and throw it into mix 2 or even mix 3 through some sections and just try and save as much fuel as possible, maybe even get this to go to a one-stop race.
Sorry, I'm too used to NASCAR where a 3-hour race is considered short. We're going to turn the fastest lap off here so we can just, because that's not really going to be important in the race. And we will get this race underway. Should be in for a good race here. Like you just said, 50 laps. It should come in at just under an hour, depending on how lap times progress throughout a run. Very excited for this race. Road courses always tend to provide a pretty good show here in the Dark Horse Indycar Series. We saw it earlier this season at Watkins Glen. Hopefully, we'll see it again today in Donington, which only is spelled with one N, and that's always confused me. I think that in doing all the stuff that I need to do leading up to this race, I've spelled it with 2 N's multiple times. Pulling up the points, just as a reminder before we get this underway, Nick DeGroot, he needs a 56-point lead after today to lock up the championship. It's looking very, very likely, considering the most amount of points a driver can earn in a race is 56. So Craig Forsythe, I would actually say at this point that I think DeGroot has the championship locked up, but just to be safe, we're going to wait until the end of this race. Pace car rolling off now, leading the field into that final set of S's/chicane, whatever you want to call it. Alexander Van de Sant, like I said, going to lead the field to green here. 50 laps ahead of us. Thomas, any last words?
Nope, apart from make sure those belts are tight, because we never know what's going to happen into turn 1. Give them a tug, and if not, box this lap and make sure your engineer can retighten them for you. And here we go.
Alexander Van de Sant leading the field on the right-hand side. Pace car is off now. Van de Sant from the lead. Gonna back up the field coming to green. We're underway in Donington. Bad start from the 317. Matt Wagner on the outside lane. Gonna get a big jump. Headed towards turn number 1 on the left-hand side. Matt Wagner looking to hold strong on the outside. They're all fighting in the back. Nick DeGroot looking to get underneath the 91.9. It's Alexander Van de Sant leading them down through the S's for the first time by Wagner. Down into second, DeGroot to third. Everyone getting through cleanly. Heading through the old hairpin now. Forsythe staying in 5th. Moore up to 6th. Pasalacqua down in 7th. Everybody making it towards the second half of the racetrack. And I believe we have gone clean so far.
Yeah, good run. I was a bit nervous there for the crane of curves and the old hairpin. Oh, someone's spinning the back.
That is, I believe,
Eric Peterson.
Eric Peterson.
That is Eric Peterson.
Off on the inside. Johnson out as well. 2-car incident in the back. Van de Sant leading them towards the chicane/S's. Matt Wagner in tow.
Nope, single car. They were both single car incidents, as far as I can tell, or at least, at least Eric Peterson's was, and so was Johnson's. Johnson is getting the power a little bit too early and dumping himself straight into the infield. Quite a lot of damage it looked like, though, on the front of Peterson's car. Yep, that front wing is all sorts of wrong. Yeah. And now you can see we're on board now with Covey Moore heading through the crane of curves and heading into the old hairpin.
I don't know why it's called the old hairpin, because that's definitely not a hairpin. I guess they might have reconfigured the track a little bit at some point.
Because it used to be a hairpin.
Yeah, there we go. Alexander Van de Sant stretching his lead out to 2 seconds early on. Matt Wagner following in tow. Nick DeGroot following in 3rd. That'll make up your podium early on. Max Davies in 4th. Craig Forsythe up to 5th. Covey Moore still in 6th. Single file throughout the pack at the moment. Big battle going on, though, for 14th. Krista Nelson looking down the inside of Charles Johnson. Johnson keeping the position. You can see these drivers at the back making their way very slowly through these turns. Definitely don't want to overcook it, especially if you're not too confident in the car. Matt Wagner in 2nd, trying to hold off Nick DeGroot. This battle for 2nd. Max Davies a little bit closer to Craig Forsythe, so a little bit of a battle for 4th heating up here.
Yeah, I have to say, though, as it looks like in this race, Alexander Van de Sant has gone off like an angry platypus, and this one is...
That's a new one.
He's not taking it. Is not taking any prisoners. Yeah, I know. I gotta come up with new things every week, Jonathan.
That is true. That is true. Craig Forsythe in 5th, getting closer to the bumper of the 51, or rear wheels of the 51. Gearbox, that's the word I'm looking for. The gearbox of the 51, crawling their way through that blind corner and headed down towards the chicane S's. You can see he's in the slipstream there, looking at a move over to the right, but staying in line. So pretty clean early on here. Not too many pileups.
Yep, definitely. It seems to be, but we never know what's going to happen. Some drivers might get a little bit too close. As the tires get older, they might get, a little bit more worn, a little bit more wary with what they're doing, and you never know. That's when mistakes can happen in these races.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely very early on in the running. We've seen these races change very quickly. Oh, Matt Wagner! The 99 is off.
That was super unfortunate there.
Yeah, well, Hobson's off as well. I'm guessing he tried to avoid it, but Matt Wagner, he was spun early on. We'll get a replay, and I'm guessing he might have just overcooked it.
Yep, got in the throttle a little bit too early, and around he went.
Take a look
Unfortunate.
at it
Yeah, unfortunate for Matt Wagner having a solid position early on in this race. I mean, Nick DeGroot has inherited second place in this race behind Alexander Van der Sant, who is properly gone off.
Yeah, Wagner just got on the throttle a little bit too early, like you said. Not too many battles on track, but a little bit of a three-car battle starting to tighten up here for third. Max Davies leading Covey Moore and Craig Forsythe, all of them in about a second of each other, so a pretty close race going on here. I have a feeling that Davies might start to be on the back foot here, because we know how strong of a driver Covey Moore is. Looking around the track, a little bit of a battle for 7th. Gary Corley in tow of Jim Brooks. But for the most part, everyone's relatively spread out. Working lap 5 of 50, about 10% of the race done already.
Yeah, you can see it looks to be a battle cooking up maybe between Nelson and Spell at some point soon. Same thing with perhaps Musselman, Merkel, and then AJ Hobson seems to be pretty close as well to Nicholas Wunnock. It seems as if there's going to be plenty of little battles popping up here and there. We're just going to have to, quite frankly, see
here comes Forsythe. Craig Forsythe getting on the gearbox of Covey Moore. Staying over to the right-hand side. I don't know how much Moore is going to fight it. He is not going to fight it much at all. Up in a 4th goes Craig Forsythe.
I'm curious about that. Why did Covey Moore move to the left-hand side of the racetrack then? Because he had the defensive line. He was ahead of Craig Forsythe, but no, he just moved the car over to the left-hand side.
It wouldn't surprise me if he didn't want to fight it too much this early on. I have a feeling
he lifted off. He lifted off down the straight and just let Forsythe go. And Eric Peterson is getting lapped there, first driver to get lapped in this race.
Yeah, we saw Peterson wreck early on, so it doesn't surprise me that he is on the back foot. Meanwhile, Craig Forsythe closing up that gap between him and Max Davies. Battle on track between Jim Brooks and... Never mind, that was just a scoring error. There is not a battle on track. The main battle here is between Matt Wagner and Gary Corley, about 5 tenths between them.
Gary Corley overtook Jim Brooks, and as I say that, Gary Corley goes, that was a questionable line.
Yeah, very wide.
And let Matt Wagner right through.
So Wagner going through into 7th. We saw Wagner in contention for a win last week at Motegi. Ended up speeding on pit road, and that cost him basically any shot he had, so he is looking for redemption here in Donington, trying to give himself some nice momentum heading into Season 3. That'll be starting next season. I actually think that we can announce the schedule at this point, but I should probably check with the admins before I say anything. Main battle on track is Craig Forsythe and Covey Moore, as Covey Moore is going to go back through for 4th.
What we can say is that the next season will be starting on the 6th of January. So keeping our Wednesday night schedule. Pardon?
I said, yes, we can say that. Oh, we can also say there will not be any dirt tracks on the schedule, but that should have been a given. Covey Moore about a second off of Davies.
We can also say Talladega isn't on the schedule.
Well, see, I have seen IndyCar leagues go to Talladega, so I wouldn't count that one out entirely. But yes, no, Talladega's not on the schedule. Forsythe nearly dumped it on the throttle. Yep. He was able to get it back going.
Pasalacqua let Wagner through that, and I'm guessing he just did not want to fight that one.
Yeah, Matt Wagner coming back up through the field, going to be a very interesting storyline. Kind of playing the Sebastian Vettel of the race, spinning out early on, literally, and coming back up through the field later on in the race. You see already a couple of tire marks going out wide there through the old hairpin. I have a feeling that that's going to be pretty present in the race as drivers getting on the throttle too early, getting that understeer and pushing them out wide just a little bit. Covey Moore 1.2 seconds off of Max Davies at the moment.
Yeah, I think Covey Moore might be chilling. Might just be like, yep, I'm gonna save my tires. I don't feel like defending. I don't feel like pushing. He's just probably chilling like it's a Sunday evening on the beach. Have a nice book in hand, sitting by the campfire. 50 laps here.
That relaxed in an IndyCar, but you know what? I maybe so. Maybe he's just that good. The gap actually between him and Davies is extending, but like you said, it wouldn't surprise me if he's just trying to save his tires. Meanwhile, We have Matt Wagner to look forward to because he is currently 5 seconds off of Craig Forsythe, but I'm guessing he is going to be closing pretty quickly. New livery, by the way, for the 99 today, and it's looking very good. I'm a big fan of that metallic blue.
Yeah, it is certainly extremely nice looking on that car. Yeah, so hopefully he'll be able to do something nice and proper about it.
One thing I am noticing is that these drivers, they're tending to brake a lot later than I've been in the couple of practice laps that I've ran here just to kind of get accustomed to the track, trying to get a better understanding of how everyone's going to race. I would always tend to kind of brake early, try and line up the exit, but these guys, they seem to be braking pretty late and kind of backing up their, backing up the apex. So I'm very interested to see kind of how that progresses throughout the race. Battle between Davies, Moore, and Forsythe definitely starting to build up here. About 7/10 between them all, with Wagner running them all down from 6th. So battle for the podium well and truly on here.
Yep, at the same time, it seems almost as if Max Davies is catching up to Nick DeGroot now as they're going through McLean's.
Could we end up with a 5-car battle for 2nd? That would be very interesting indeed.
It most certainly were. Heading through Coppice now, heading down now towards the right-left S's, and hopefully heading towards the start-finish line. As you can see now, we are on board. Well, we're on board now. We're no longer on board with Covey Moore, who has caught right up to Max Davies. And as they come to lap, Kristen Nelson is AJ Musselman's in the pits. Musselman's in the pits.
Oh, that's definitely interesting. I'm going to guess he got a little bit of damage, probably from a self-spin, I'd have to guess. Musselman going to come back out onto the track. Very awkward pit exit there. You kind of got to come out right in front of traffic, so wouldn't surprise me if we end up seeing that maybe costing a driver later on in the race as Davies runs wide. So we're going to start paying attention to this battle because we got everyone stacking up behind the 51.
Yep. As he goes wide there through McLean's, that's going to leave him vulnerable.
Moore over to the right-hand side, looking but not going to go for it. We'll see if Davies puts up a fight here. I kind of hope he does. 3-car battle for 3rd underway.
Yep, we got to go now down the straight towards the final S's corners. And wow, that sentence was not very straight. The S's corners. Heading now through turn 1. That is once again Redgate, and we're heading now down towards the Craner curves. Hopefully Covey Moore doesn't suffer too much with the dirty air in these cars. Covey Moore having a much tighter line than Davies ahead, heading now into the old hairpin. Davies, it seems almost as if his car is a bit pointier than Covey Moore's. We're heading down now under Starkley's Bridge and through McLean's now wide again.
Oh, lap car going to be in the way, pulling over to the right-hand side. I believe that is Michael Spell. So Michael Spell getting in the way of Davies just a little bit, about 6/10 between Moore and Davies. To your point about the dirty air, I think that it's definitely not as much of a factor on the DW12s as it is on the IR18s. We heard Nick DeGroot talking about that a little bit last week after his race in Motegi. So I think that'll definitely not be too much of a factor, and it'll hopefully not be too much of a factor, because I believe Matt Wagner is still staying around that 3.8 second range to Moore and Forsythe. Forsythe actually getting onto the wheelhouse of Covey Moore. So Moore's starting to fall back from Max Davies.
Yep, I think, Covey Moore might have had a push as he gets some nice wheel hop through the old hairpin under Starkley's Bridge now and heading up towards McLean's. He might be vulnerable heading into McLean's. Nope. Craig Forsythe thinks better of it.
Oh,
spinner!
That is going to be
That's
Charles
14 of
Johnson spinning off to the right. No damage for the 15. We stay green. Well, obviously we stay green, but no damage to anybody. Meanwhile, headed towards the S's, Forsythe moving over to the right, going for a move. This could be tricky, but he is going to make the move work. Locking up just a little bit, but he is going to make it work.
Yeah, super well done there. Down Starkley straight. Get the move into the right-left S's, and you see now we're coming to lap Todd Merkel.
Schneider going to be in the way. It's going to push the 113 out wide. It's going to put Moore right back on the rear wing of Forsythe. Can't imagine Forsythe is too happy with that. Still holding him up here, actually, as they head into the old hairpin, and it's really going to hold up Forsythe. This might open up the door for Covey Moore, and now, I believe that was...
That's Todd Curl. Nope, Todd Merkel.
Todd Merkel let them go.
Todd Schneider isn't in this race.
Oh. I thought he was. Covey Moore still trying to get up to the wheelhouse. I don't know why I keep saying wheelhouse. To the gearbox of Craig Forsythe. About 5/10 between them, but I have a feeling Forsythe might be just a little bit faster here as they head into the Estes chicanes. One day I will find a proper word for that. Moore still about 6/10 off of Forsythe as Wagner has gotten the gap down to 2.3 seconds.
Yep. We don't say it enough there, but there is still quite a massive slipstream down Wheatcroft Straight and Starkey Straight, both at the same time. So, these... Okay, the Starkey Straight is before the S's, and Wheatcroft is the start-finish straight.
Okay. So I don't know corner and straight names. If this was like Sonoma, I would know exactly what we're talking about. This is Donington. I don't know what we're doing, but I do know at least some of the characteristics of the turns, which is good. 3.5/10 now between Moore and Moore and Forsythe, and once again Matt Wagner reeling them both in from 6th. So while Davies is kind of pulled away in 3rd.
Down Wheatcroft Straight. What's Covey Moore gonna be able to do about it? He had a much better run out of the right-left S's. Then, he's backed off. Yep, nope, the sounding better as we're heading now into Redgate. He's going to try it, though, and get the run down. Into the grass.
Down the grass there. Yeah, that's going to cost him a little bit of time.
Yep, nothing you can do through the crane of curves. Looking through the old hairpin. What's he going to be able to do through here? Has a pretty even run under Starkey's bridge now. Up now through McLean's we go. And better run through better run on entry, worse run on exit through McLean's, down through Coppice now. A very different line almost between these two drivers. Yep, it seems though as if Forsythe's line is better than Moore's, as Max Davies is catching rightly up.
Good run here for Moore through the S's. Onto Wheatcroft. I'm going to try and start using those names. Down the front straightaway. Covey Moore about 5/10 off of Forsythe, now into Redgate. Still looking after that blue Indy car in the distance, but it's staying at around half a second.
Yep. Craig Forsythe, though, he is going to have traffic coming up in the form of Kristen Nelson getting lapped for the second time.
Not a good line there through the old hairpin for Covey Moore. He just didn't get on the throttle very aggressively. I think that a lot of these drivers aren't quite making enough use of that curved exit that you have out of that turn. Bit of a slide for Moore on entry.
Yeah, big moment there for Moore. As you can see, Max Davies getting held up by Kristen Nelson, who's off.
Nelson spins. That's going to be right in front of Forsythe.
And Wagner now. Wagner has the momentum down. Starkey straight to the inside of Moore. There you go. Moore's going to brake early. Matt Wagner is going to go into the corner nicely. Is Covey Moore going to have a look to retaliate?
Alexander Van de Sant into the pits. He's into the pit
Everyone's
lane.
into the pits. Lap 17 in this race. Everyone's into the pits. Absolutely everyone and their dog is into the pits now. Nick DeGroot's in. Max Davies, Craig Forsythe, Matt Wagner, and Covey Moore. And now it's going to be the first one to can get their inner platypus out and go right off quickly.
DeGroot, Wagner. No, it's going to be Forsythe over Wagner, but it's really going to stack everyone up here. And there is a very slow car in the way as well. So not a great pit exit by those three, but luckily it was pretty evenly spread among them. So now Matt Wagner going to be a lot closer to Craig Forsythe than he was before the pit stops, but a very, very interesting cycle, and it's actually put them all on the bumper of Max Davies.
Yeah, which means Matt Wagner is going to be absolutely twiddling his thumbs here, happy as he goes underneath Starkey's bridge and up towards McLean's. The question is, how quickly can he dispatch of Forsythe to get to Max Davies and hopefully get back into that third place and chase after Nick DeGroot. Sorry, I was halfway through your door.
I got something interesting. Brandon Pasalacqua is staying out at the moment, past the 18 laps that everyone else has gone. We'll see if he comes in this time by, but if not, he might be trying to extend to a one-stop.
Nope, he's in.
And there he goes. Well, I don't think a one-stop's going to be possible. Nick DeGroot in second.
Oh, Matt Wagner to the outside, down Wheatcroft.
Yeah, he's going to be on the outside into Redgate. We'll see if he's able to make the move work. You said it could be done. Not on this occasion. Forsythe's going to squeeze him out.
Didn't get on. Oh, Forsythe! Massive moment. Does well to hold it. Yeah, it's going to be side by side down the Craner curves. Matt Wagner's going to have the inside for the left-hander, heading it out into the old hairpin. Craig Forsythe is going to hold on to it, but it's not over yet as Matt Wagner's coming back underneath Starkey's bridge now. Looking to make a move up to McLean's. No, he backs off, knowing that it's very difficult to make one through McLean's in these Indy cars. It is possible, however. Heading up to Coppice, he's going to try and keep the momentum down Starkey's straight.
Very
Looking
narrow
at
exit.
more
He had to
momentum.
downshift, though. I don't think he was in the right gear through there. It's going to hurt his exit. Headed
Yep,
towards
Kobe
the
Moore,
S's.
though.
Matt
Kobe
Wagner
Moore
trying
might
to get
have a
onto the
look.
bumper of Craig Forsythe, sending it deep into the chicane, keeping it off the sausage curbs. It's about a 4/10 gap between them as they come down Wheatcroft.
Yeah, Max Davies is massively happy with that moment. Craig Forsythe has taken all the pressure off his shoulders. And can now catch up to Nick DeGroot as Craig Forsythe goes wide again. He's
Forsythe
spinning.
spins. Around he goes. On the exit of Red Cross.
Red Gate.
Nope, that's not it.
Red
Red
Gate.
Gate. Red Gate. Almost got it. But that is going to cost him quite a bit of track position. Not a spot, though, or it's going to cost him 2 spots and quite a bit of track position.
Yeah, it most certainly will, though. Now, Kobe Moore has absolutely lost touch with Matt Wagner already as we're heading through McLean's. Up to Coppice now, and Matt Wagner has already started catching up to Max Davies, who has dropped back a little bit from Nick DeGroot.
Gap between the top 2, by the way, is 10 seconds.
I don't want to blow my whistle early, but I'm not sure anyone's really going to be able to challenge Alexander Van de Sant in this race. He's
Really? 'Cause
absolutely dominating.
I was thinking they would. Nah, I don't think. I think that I'm going to agree with you.
Brilliant run from Alexander Van de Sant to keep it this far ahead as he's catching lap traffic in the form of Michael Spell, and he's going to have to negotiate these drivers as we're heading now through McLean's. You see, yep. Well, we're not looking at him right now. We're looking at Matt Wagner. But Alexander Van de Sant, and that was a bit dangerous through Coppice for Alexander Van de Sant. So he's going to be absolutely on the edge of his seat, trying to make sure that he doesn't spin off anywhere near that grass.
Yeah, we haven't really paid attention to Alexander Van de Sant most of the race, which is kind of surprising considering he's led this entire thing. But he's still out front, smooth sailing. He hasn't really had much pressure. But hey, we might as well point out that he does have a new livery on the car.
Does he?
Yeah. Oh, well, that's not a very good line through Red Gate, but it's not going to matter because he's literally that's like a solid corner ahead of Nick DeGroot. So I think that he's okay.
I think he's a bit more in the corner ahead, a bit.
A little bit more.
A bit more.
You'll see
Yeah,
here,
you
so
see
Alexander Van de Sant, right, he's on the run up to McLean's, and Nick DeGroot is just barely
Under
exiting the
Starkey's
old turn. So
Yeah, he just got under Starkey's bridge as he was already exiting McLean's. There's no shot. No shot, as now we're on board with Matt Wagner as he's going through McLean's.
Yeah,
Nice
kinda
line, actually. No, a little bit far away from the apex, but still decent, carrying decent momentum as he's catching up to Max Davies. Through Coppice, now we go down
he's really
Starkey's
catching up.
straight.
he's
Yep.
really catching up to Max Davies.
Yep, gap last lap at the line was about 1.5 seconds.
Is Davies
I can
okay?
tell you.
Is Davies okay? He's okay. I just wanted to make sure that he hadn't like spun out or anything, because now they're actually on the same straightaway. So I think Wagner here is going to have a pretty easy time of getting around this 51.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that, though, because we've seen Max Davies defend, and he can defend very, very well.
Oh, Craig Forsythe's gone 2 laps down, and he's into the pits without a nose. That's probably not a good thing. We'll take a look at a replay. Well, I have to go back quite a bit, because I guess this happened a while ago. We'll speed it up until we get... Oh! Yeah, that's not a...
Oh,
that's...
he was trying to lap, I believe that's Eric Peterson, and just...
Oh. That might be one
Oh,
of those
wow,
situations-
okay. That's a protest, I have a feeling.
Well-
it looks as if because the thing is, heading down through Craner curves there, you can't see much when you're driving, and then obviously when you're trying to follow a driver like Eric Peterson through there, and because you take that line anyway, you're maybe a little bit further to the left, heading into the third part of the Craner curves, but Craig Forsythe is probably just thinking, oh, that's the natural line for Eric Peterson, and Eric Peterson just slams on the brakes in front of him.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because Forsythe has probably been taking that section flat all race, and Peterson is jamming on the brakes halfway through. I mean, you even saw Forsythe swung over to the right, trying to stay out of him. I actually find it very interesting that Peterson was going that slow.
Oh, sorry to take your attention away, but Wagner is all the way on the back of Max Davies. We're heading into McLean's. Really tried the switchback. He could have had it, got a little moment, though, on entry. Looking up 2 Coppice.
Oh,
Brakes
we got
early.
one car down to the back. One car just slid down into the inside wall. One car wide as well.
That is AJ Hobson.
Yeah, Hobson wide, but there was one other car that got sent down to the inside. It looked like maybe it was a factory-backed car, but both Moore and DeGroot are okay, so I think we're going to be all right in terms of that. But here we go for third. Wagner looking over to the right, trying to force, or looking over to the left, trying to force it down the right. He's going to settle with the outside line into Redgate. But Davies going to defend and go wide. Wagner is going to make it through.
Tags him, though. Left rear, possible damage. We'll have a look and see what we can see here. I'm having a look now on the left rear.
Cody Moore into the pits, hit the inside wall, but he is into the pit lane, lap 25. A little bit early for Moore to be coming in. He might have had damage.
Yeah, only 8 laps, though, after his previous stops, and maybe he's trying alternate strategies. Matt Wagner goes really wide.
Oh, it was Covey. It was Covey Moore that slid down to the inside. I said that it might have been a factory-backed car. As it turns out, it was. You're going to see Covey Moore there just gets loose, coming out of that right-hander, trying to correct it, keep it out of the tire barriers. Just gets right into it. Luckily, he didn't get glitched into it, so he is going to be able to stay going. But Matt Wagner, he's up into third, now into second as Alexander Van de Sant is into the pits. With damage! Alexander Van de Sant has damage. He might be out of the race.
I think he has a fast repair.
Well, yeah, but that's definitely not going to help him. Oh my goodness, what? Okay, so coming through Redgate, Van de Sant is... Oh, that was Krista Nelson spinning through Redgate. Van de Sant got into her, and that takes the nose out of the 317.
Yep, 317's out and back onto the racetrack, though, but hold on. Oh,
he gets loose again. Cold tires. That's gonna do it right there. Major race implications. It's going to put Nick DeGroot in the race lead with Matt Wagner chasing him down.
Yep.
Okay.
And now, I'm no mathematician, but I think Alexander Van de Sant can get to the end with one stop. However,
that's going to be close.
It's going to be very close for Nick DeGroot and Matt Wagner to get to the end on one stop. Hold on, let me just do the maths quickly.
Well, Wagner and DeGroot have been 9 laps on their stints at the moment. 10 more laps, that'll take them to lap 37. I think that Wagner and DeGroot are going to have no problem making it on one more stop. Van de Sant, on the other hand, if he can make it 18 laps from here, Van de Sant is easily going to be able to make it on one more stop. That is assuming that we can make it 18 laps on a fuel run, and I think we can. Meanwhile, Matt Wagner... Nick DeGroot's out wide. DeGroot's out wide. Matt Wagner going to go through on the inside for the race lead. New leader, 99.
Yeah, I think these drivers are going to look to make their stints last about 17 laps now, so we're going to be expecting the drivers in at about lap 36, maybe, as you were saying. No, not 36. Lap 34, which means they're going to have to save fuel.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be close, but now we actually have a battle for the lead. Because Matt Wagner just took it from Nick DeGroot, who got forced out wide by a lapped car, but we know that DeGroot has a decent amount of pace here. So I think that he might be able to stay in contention with Wagner, and all of that is assuming that Alexander Van de Sant can't, make up 23 seconds on the last 20 laps of this race, because I think it's possible.
Yeah, anything's possible. Never say die in a race.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, you can see, though, Nick DeGroot, it looks as if he's struggling to catch up to the back of Matt Wagner. However, Matt Wagner is catching lap traffic in the form of Todd Merkel, who we saw wasn't the best driver necessarily at getting lapped. And you can see on the brakes really hard into the S's.
Oh, that's a slide right there. That's a slide on entry and a terrible exit for Nick DeGroot. That's going to push him back quite a bit.
Yeah, not great for Nick DeGroot. And Matt Wagner having to make a lunge on Todd Merkel. Todd Merkel out into the gravel on the left-hand side, through Redgate and out. Matt Wagner through corner curves. Seems to be all right. That damage that he might have gotten from the spinner in front of him doesn't seem to be affecting his car too severely.
I will say that you got to feel for Alexander Van de Sant. I mean, he had the race in the bag. I mean, only to get wrecked by a lapped car. I've been in a situation like that before. It's just awful because, there's nothing really you could have done, and it wasn't even necessarily the lap car's fault, so it's just a bad situation all around, but it has given us a pretty exciting battle for the lead here, even if it does look like Matt Wagner is pulling away. Could this be a redemption for Motegi?
It very much could be, and on the topic of getting ruined by lap cars, I experienced that one last night. Oh, that was not fun.
Oh yeah, it's never fun when a driver who is way off the pace, you're way faster than them, ends up basically ruining your entire race. But at the same time, there's not much they can do, and especially in a situation where they just straight up lost it. It wasn't intentional, it wasn't malicious, just there was nothing they could have done.
Yep, it was an ACC OOR race, and just at Zolder,
And Wagner is having to lap Krista Nelson, so that might not be... Oh, never mind. So Nelson's going to get lapped pretty effectively this time by no issues there.
Oh, but Wagner's wide, very wide, in fact, and I don't know what noise to make then, as Nick DeGroot laps Kristen Nelson as well, and seems to be holding massive amounts of speed here onto Starkey Straight, and I don't know what steed is, I meant speed.
Yeah, I gotta say though, I feel like these drivers, they're not making the most out of their exits that they could, because a lot of times it seems like they're trying to break the entire corner, and only start to get back on the gas quite a little bit into the straightaway, so... I mean, I gotta say, I'm not entirely certain if that's just a product of tire wear or if that's just how these cars need to be driven in order for the most pace, because I don't have too much experience driving these on a road course, but I do know that it doesn't tend to be a great idea to break through the corner, but maybe maybe they know something that I don't.
Yep, definitely, and Zachary Thornton, Mr. Oat, and Mr. Fish, that is
from way earlier on, I just didn't mention
I know,
it because,
I just noticed it. That is us, that is the us.
So,
probably.
I'm just thinking here. Alexander Van de Sande has been on his tires for 5 laps. I don't think he can make it to the end without stopping. He will have to pit one more time. Now, what I find interesting is that he might be able to get an absolutely massive undercut on these guys, and maybe get the lead if he can bring the lead down enough in this stint. The problem is going to be when he gets out of the pits ahead of everyone, when everyone else gets out of the pits with like 5 lap fresher tires than him, then might be a little bit of a problem. So we're in for a very interesting race until the end here. Only 18 laps to go. These laps have just been absolutely flying by.
Yeah, they most certainly have. Gap between Wagner and Nick DeGroot at the line was 2 seconds, pretty much on the nose, as Matt Wagner quite easily laps AJ Musselman, who gets nicely out of his way. And Nick DeGroot heading through McLean's now, about a second behind AJ Musselman, so we got a little run, maybe lap him at the bottom of Starkey Straight here.
Yeah, I gotta say, it would be great if Matt Wagner was able to take the checkered flag here. I mean, we've seen it for the past 2 weeks where he's been in contention for the win, and he's going wide through the chicane. That is commentator's curse if I've ever seen it. It's not going to cost him the lead, but it's going to cost him momentum into Redgate. Nick DeGroot hot on his heels as they head to turn 1. Wagner going to keep the position, but he's going to have dirty tires heading through this turn. Not going to affect him, though. Matt Wagner keeping the lead. And like I was saying, I mean, it would be great if he was able to win, because for the past 2 weeks now, I mean, he was in contention for the win at Texas, got taken out. He was in contention for the win at Motegi, sped on pit road. I think it'd be great if he was able to win here in Donington.
Yep, I fully agree with you there, Jonathan, but now I think Nick DeGroot needs to channel his inner Jack Aitken and hashtag Yotis it. And for those who don't know what hashtag Yotis means, apparently it means hashtag Year of the Ultimate Send.
Huh, that's what it means. You might have to do that, because it definitely looks like he's not particularly gaining ground on Matt Wagner. However, I will say I think the true inner Jack Aitken would be spinning off turn 4.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
No,
Jack Aitken's my favorite F2 driver.
Well, you know what? I won't say anything other than George Russell was robbed. Battle for the lead right now, not really present, about 1.4 seconds between them. Matt Wagner leading away, heading through the S's and into the old hairpin. I gotta say, I think at this point, it's gonna be down to Alexander Van de Sande trying to get the undercut and pulling off a strategy win here.
Yep, and if I can do maths, which I hope I can do maths, the driver should be pitting this lap or next lap, depending on how much fuel they have saved over the course of this stint. And if they pit this lap, it's going to be tight to the end.
Yeah, we'll see if Wagner comes in. I mean, honestly, I would try and extend a little bit, because I know that I think Van de Sande's going to be in a position where, well, maybe I would try and extend.
He's coming in.
Never mind, they have made the decision for me.
And Nick DeGroot is also coming in, so these drivers...
Oh, no, Wagner was going in pretty fast there. Wagner was going in very quickly, and I really hope that doesn't mean that he was speeding. But anyways, this is what I'm talking about. We're going to see Alexander Van de Sande here take the lead. So we're going to see how this
Wagner's
goes.
Good. Wagner's good.
Wagner is good?
Yeah, I can confirm he broke about 15 meters before he came down to pretty much a stop.
Van de Sande going by on the inside. He is going to take the lead from Wagner and Nick DeGroot now. They'll have to merge back out into traffic. It gets very much close there with Nick DeGroot is going to go out wide.
Yep. Super unfortunate for Nick DeGroot to go out wide like that, but now Alexander Van de Sande needs to attach his right foot to a piece of lead and bring out his inner platypus and just send it.
What Matt Wagner needs, or what Alexander Van de Sant needs to do, is pit early enough that he's going to be able to use the tire advantage he gains from pitting later, but pit late enough that the tires are going to last until the end, if that makes sense. You definitely don't want to compromise.
What's
oh
happening
my
here?
goodness, what is happening?
Okay, this is... what this here right is a pâté chinois. And for those who don't know what it is, it's magnificent. But kind of just full of lap cars. You're just kind of mushing the potatoes around. You're not entirely sure what it's going to end up being, but you just know it's going to be
there's
food.
another one, Michael Spell, out wide. I gotta say, I'm seeing some pretty abysmal rejoins here. I mean, I think that was Gary Corley who rejoined the track at a solid, like, 45-degree angle. If there's one thing I've learned is that you have to rejoin the track as parallel as possible. See, Michael Spell here, what he needs to do is loop it around the other way, not do whatever that is.
Oh, goodness, what's he doing?
That was inexperience. But Alexander Van de Sant leading by about 4.3 seconds at the moment. This is kind of like Hammer time, except it's Van de Sant time. Van de Sant timer. I'm working on it. 4.3 seconds between him and Matt Wagner. We'll see if he can try and extend the gap here and end up coming in. Like I said, it needs to be late enough that he's going to have a significant tire advantage to the end.
Yep. Oh, I got it. Alexander.
Nah, doesn't work.
Doesn't?
I was thinking Alexander Van de Sant time, like you have Sand timer.
Oh, no, Alexander Van de Sant.
There we go, Alexander Van de Sant time. So he's currently in the lead, 4.6 seconds in it. He's actually pulling away from Matt Wagner on 8-lap older tires.
Underneath Starkey's bridge. Oh, that lap car didn't get out of the way. Who was that? That was
no,
Tim
is that
Brooks.
front end damage?
That is not front end damage.
Oh, never mind. Okay, just some weird shadows, but we're all good.
Yep, that was super lucky though. That would have been gutting for Alexander Van de Sant.
Never mind. That's just the gap between Hobson. No, wait, I don't know. For some reason, for a second, my timing and scoring showed AJ Hobson as the leader, and it made me think that there was a 6-second gap between Van de Sant and Wagner, so that got very confusing. But anyways, Alexander Van de Sant, he's in a very interesting position because he's very clearly faster than Matt Wagner, but the thing is
is that Alexander Van de Sant? No, that's Jim Brookson.
But the thing is that he is not in a position to go until the end without pitting, because he is going to need to stop for fuel. So what I see happening is that Van de Sant's going to need to come in around lap 40. I actually think around lap 40 would be the perfect time to pit and just push like crazy until the end, trying to make up like 10-second deficit in really not that many laps. Is it possible? Absolutely. Will it be done?
It'll be over 10 seconds.
Well,
due to the speed of the pit lane, it's going to be over 10 seconds, the gap.
That's true, that's true.
The pit lane here has a speed limit of 37 miles an hour, if I'm not mistaken. That's approximately... no. My brain's not working yet. It is 37 miles an hour, which, if I ask Siri, I can tell you what it is in kilometers an hour. Other smartphone helpers are available.
6-second gap now between Matt Wagner and Alexander Van de Sant. Not too many battles on track right now. Really, we're just going to monitor this until the end because it is very interesting to see how this is going to play out. I'm going to give it one more lap until Van de Sant brings it in. Or he could try and extend it to the end. I don't see that happening.
Yep. And you know what this is a good time for, Jonathan?
What do you think it's a good time for, Thomas?
To mention that this league would not be possible without the support of the buttkicker.com. So the buttkicker.com, if you don't already know what it is, and honestly you really should go and find out what it is that they make these really cool sort of stereo speaker things of awesomeness, which you stick on. That's very close to Matt Wagner.
Oh, there are 2 lap cars off, and that is the worst rejoin I've ever seen in my life. Oh my god. I think that was was that Nicholas Wannock? I don't know who that was. I think it was, yeah. Nicholas Wannock just rejoined the track after going wide at the chicane at a solid 45-degree angle. I don't know what it is, but I think today everyone has just decided to forget about how to rejoin. Luckily, it doesn't cause too many accidents.
He just spun himself and then lit the rear tires up, and that was almost... We almost witnessed just pure awfulness as you can see Alexander Van de Sant got through that safe and sound and is now heading through McLean's. And as he's trying to lap AJ Hobson, who was not in the best place.
I gotta imagine he's definitely not too confident about lapping cars after what we saw earlier in the race with him and Nelson. But anyways, I will actually, this time I'm gonna do the ad break, but thebudkicker.com, they make speakers that you put on your chair and it gives you force feedback. It's very cool, and you can check them out with a link that I have actually forgotten to include in the description, but it's just thebudkicker.com, and you can use code DARKHORSE20 to get 20%, I believe it's 20% off your order. But that might not be correct. I have it in the older descriptions. You can use that.
Okay,
code.
Jonathan, this is why you let me do this.
This is exactly why I let you do this, because I try and I mess things up. Go ahead, Thomas.
Yeah, so the code is DARKHORSE20. It gives you 20% off any order you get at thebudkicker.com. Valid through June of 2021, depending on where you're looking at it. Pardon?
It's June of 2021, but why wait when you could shop right now?
Exactly. Why wait? You see, that's the thing. It's the 9th of December, 2020. 2020 has not been the best year for the world for reasons we can't say on YouTube. And, you know, why not make yourself happy? Improve your sim racing experience and get some speakers from thebudkicker.com.
I wholeheartedly agree with that message, and we also need to give a shout out to the league's partner, Lionheart Racing. By the way, if you're interested in watching the IR-18s take to the track, you can watch them on the Global Sim Racing channel. But if I'm not mistaken, they actually make the setups for this league, and they have been putting together some absolutely incredible racing over in their own league, and also over here with the setups that they have been providing. So we have to give a huge shout out to them as the season comes to an end. Oh, okay. What?
Wagner, that is not the line, mate.
Matt, that's not a shortcut, buddy. Oh, no. What? Oh, did he just do what I think he did? Did he just... Oh, what has he done? We'll go on board. Wagner just gets in the grass and just decides, you know what, where we're going, we don't need roads. Just cuts... He just cuts the entirety of the S's. So, that's fun. But it is going to give Alexander Van de Sant an 11-second lead. But again, I think he still has to pit. He is coming in right now.
Yep. Okay, now is the time, ladies and gentlemen, to get out your stopwatches and figure out with us how long Alexander Van de Sant is going to be in the pits as Matt Wagner is coming through the second part of the right-left S's and is coming down Wheatcroft and is across the line now. And, yeah, Alexander Van de Sant just stopped in his box. And who's this coming out of the pits? That was a bit close between Matt Wagner and Kristen Nelson. So and you can see Alexander Van de Sant deciding to become
clear track.
one with
That's really
car.
important, though. Notice how he didn't have any cars to worry about when he was rejoining. It's going to minimize the time that he... Oh, no, that could have almost all been over. But it's going to minimize the time that he needed to take to wait for other cars to pass and rejoin safely. The gap between Alexander Van de Sant and Matt Wagner is going to be pretty big, but it's not being calculated. Oh, no! Wagner almost got wrecked by Michael Spell. They're crashing behind Spell. Oh no!
Yeah, Wagner's not going. Where is Matt Wagner? Matt Wagner is heading down. No, I don't think that was Matt.
Wagner didn't get wrecked, but he almost did. Meanwhile, the
gap you gave me a heart attack.
Yeah, the gap is not calculating with Alexander Van de Sant and Matt Wagner, but it's safe to assume it's around 8 seconds. But like I said, it's not over for Alexander Van de Sant. It may look like it is, but
Alexander Van de Sant making a move on Nick DeGroot. Nick DeGroot lifting out of it, deciding very wisely in this case to not stop the unstoppable force in this race, which is Alexander Van de Sant.
All right, Thomas, are you ready? 8 seconds to make up in the next 7 laps. Oh boy, here we go. If I was Alexander Van de Sant, I would be Alexander Van de sending it right now. You can see him sending it right there. He actually got that right side completely off the ground. So that's definitely an interesting line to take. Alexander Van de Sant at this point needs to take a second out of Wagner's lead each lap. Is it possible? Yes. Will it be done? We'll see.
Yep, you can see Alexander Van de Sant, he has to have an absolute millimetric perfect. Or for you Americans, about 1/16 of the...
Oh my god!
Alexander Van...
Oh no! Alexander Van de Sant. I'm sorry for laughing, but it looked very comical that he just swerved to the left, hopped on the sawtooth curving.
Well, it's because I'm not sure if you noticed, but there was a very wild AJ Musselman having one of the worst rejoins I've seen so far in this race. He spun it into the outside wall and then just immediately floored it.
So yeah,
and spun himself back around and across the racetrack.
Went across the what?
And then you can see Alexander Van de Sant. You know what? I feel like this needs to be the new channel intro, Jonathan. Just Alexander Van de Sant flying.
Hold on. I have to analyze this because you're gonna see AJ Musselman here. I don't know what he was doing, but he cuts from the right to the left. I mean, that's just the worst possible way to rejoin. But back live, Alexander Van de Sant has a 10-second gap to Matt Wagner. It's
Max
not
Davis is
looking
in.
likely at this point.
Max Davis was in the pits. So now the question is, how is Matt Wagner on fuel?
Good enough to make it to the end. I can tell you that right now.
Jonathan, I'm trying to build up suspense here.
Well, the suspense is that I still think that there's a possibility that Van de Sant is just that much faster. It's just very slim, especially now that I think that front wing is out of shape.
I don't know. I mean, Matt Wagner is halfway through. Nope, sorry. He's now going down. The Starkey is straight, and there is
definitely damage on the front wing of the 317. But I mean, we'll see. I don't think it's possible at this point, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yep. So you see Alexander Van de Sant on the bump on Starkey's straight, and Matt Wagner is heading into Redgate now. So he's about Wheatcroft straight ahead. So the question is, how quickly can Alexander Van de Sant make up the equivalent of Wheatcross Straight?
Yeah, it's only going to be 3 laps left. I mean, I got to say, you really got to feel for Alexander Van de Sant because he's clearly been the fastest car of the race. It's just very unfortunate the way that the race played out for him. Almost like a George Russell situation where he's been very, very fast, just unfortunately just hasn't been very lucky. And in the end, that might cost him a win. I gotta say, I mean, I can't entirely fault AJ Musselman because, to be fair, I don't think that Van de Sant would have made contact with him had he just continued on with his line. But definitely not a great rejoin.
I think that's probably at the bottom of the rejoins that we have seen so far today. I don't know what's getting into these drivers today, but they really need to start knuckling each other down and making sure that they're rejoining this track safely because, Alexander Van de Sant taken out of the lead by a spinning car, and then Matt Wagner almost getting taken out by cars rejoining unsafely. Then Alexander Van de Sant getting wing damage from a car. This is the type of stuff that we really need to avoid in this race. And by the way, in this race so far, we have lost Charles Johnson and Eric Peterson as we now have 3 laps to go.
You make it sound very dramatic. We have lost Eric Peterson. It's very unfortunate, but unfortunately Donington has claimed more victims.
They're at home. They're all right. They're just, I can't say no longer with us. They're no longer in the race.
They're no longer in the race with us. Coming up on 2 laps to go, Matt Wagner. I mean, I'm not going to say he's been perfect all day, but the thing is, I don't think any drivers have been perfect all day. It's been a race of survival, and I think I said that at the start of the show. I mean, really, you just had to, A, get lucky, and B, minimize mistakes. And I think all these drivers have made mistakes of their own throughout the race. The only driver who hasn't really has been Alexander Van de Sant. But unfortunately, just the luck didn't fall his way.
Yeah, it certainly didn't. But you can see Matt Wagner. He's coming through the old hairpin now. He's going to have to do that once more underneath Starkey's bridge. At this point, he's probably just having a swan song for his last 2 laps here at Donington, having not really any pressure left. As you can see, Alexander Van de Sant just coming out of the old hairpin.
Oh dear. No, not again. Okay, sorry, for a second I thought a lap car was going to interfere with the finish again, because the way that they were slowing down was just scarily close to the apex of the turn, but we ended up being alright. Coming up on the white flag, I think it's going to be one of those extremely bittersweet situations. I mean,
what happened to Matt Wagner then? That was not the line, mate.
Just a little bit of a lockup, but I think he'll be fine. I mean, it's a very bittersweet situation. On one hand, you got to feel for Alexander Van de Sant, but on the other hand, Matt Wagner. I mean, for the past 2 races now, he has been robbed of a chance to win either by a mistake by himself or just very unfortunate circumstances. But I think today, given nothing incredibly bad happening in this last lap, I think Matt Wagner is going to walk off and win decisively here in Donington.
Yeah, you can see he's coming underneath Starkey's bridge, heading up now through the left, leading into McLean's. You can see the lap car ahead of him in Jim Brooks, I do believe that is. It is letting him go nice and easy through Coppice. Now he goes, heading now onto Starkey's straight. Starkey straight, it's a beautiful straight. Got those 2 humps in it, makes it super interesting in wheel-to-wheel racing. Braking now for the right-left S's. As you're coming around the final corner, heading onto Wheatcross Straight, Matt Wagner is your winner here in Donington for the Dark Horse Indycar Series presented by thebuckier.com. Well done to him. Second place will be Alexander Van de Sant, who comes through the final corners now and is heading across the line Well done to him. Super unfortunate circumstances for the number 317 car, but well done to him nonetheless. Nick DeGroot comes home to bring it home in third. Fourth place will be Covey Moore. Brendan Passalacqua, he's about half a lap behind Covey Moore. So your finishing results so far tonight will be Matt Wagner, Alexander Van der Sant, Nick DeGroot have been confirmed. Covey Moore will be coming around. Koppis now avoiding a wild Todd Merkel.
I need to cut you off really quick because I wanted to interject when he crossed the line, but Nick DeGroot has officially locked up the Dark Horse Indycar Series Season 2 champion. So right now you are looking at the number 89 driver, Nick DeGroot. I mean, it's been a very, very good season for him. He's been easily the best driver all season. He's put together an incredible string of races, especially at the end. Nick DeGroot, he's locked up the champion. He is your Dark Horse IndyCar Series Season 2 champion. Matt Wagner burning it down, redemption after being robbed 2 times in a row, and Nick DeGroot, your season champion. Some really incredible storylines after a very, very good race here in Donington. Really, the whole race, I mean, there was stuff happening the entire time. It was very exciting. Right there, you see Nick DeGroot burning it down. Champion of the Dark Horse IndyCar Series Season 2 for factory-backed motorsports. Covey Moore, his teammate, bringing it home in 4th. I mean, really just a great race, a great way to end off the season championship, but not a great way to end off the season. That will be next Saturday at Indianapolis for a full-length Indianapolis 500. You will be seeing it here on TMG and also on ESTV. So if you are subscribed to Pluto TV, you can actually turn on actual television, which is very, very cool for us, very cool for the league, and hopefully we're going to be in for a very good race. Right there, the 2 drivers celebrating their results today. Nick DeGroot, a great season. Matt Wagner, a great race. Overall, I mean, just a very, very good race. Not much else to say.
Yep, super well done by Nick DeGroot. Has had absolute pace. Voice crack. Has had absolute pace all the way through this season now. And, bring it home for the championship. Well done to him in the number 89 car, factory-backed motorsports. You see Covey Moore, his teammate, up there, maybe trying to go for a team picture. You can see Nick DeGroot sliding it down next to him.
Yeah, they made a little bit of contact, but you know what? When we take the post-race pictures, we will do our best to get to just kind of, put the camera away. You don't really see that damage, but right there are the teammates, Nick DeGroot, Covey Moore, championship-winning team. I mean, it's been a great effort all season long, and definitely not a one-sided team either. We saw Covey Moore in the couple of starts he made this season, 2 wins. Very impressive all around.
Yep, most certainly. And now we're going to get ready to bring up our podium.
We should probably start with the champion because as impressive as the win is, I mean, Nick DeGroot, he's absolutely earned this. And plus, I feel like I didn't mention it enough. During the race, I kind of just glossed over the fact that we have officially crowned a champion for Season 2. We're going to go ahead and bring Nick DeGroot up into the broadcast booth if I can actually find him.
We can't. He's not there yet. We will, however, bring up Matt Wagner because he's won the race and he's the only one who's actually in the chat.
DeGroot has blown his engine, so that was fun.
Yep. So we're going to bring up Matt Wagner.
Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Go ahead.
Hey, Matt. It's Thomas of the TMZ broadcast booth. You got me? Okay, we're going to try this a second time. Matt Wagner, driver of the number 99 car. Do you hear me? It's Thomas of the TMG broadcast booth. Okay, third time's the charm. Matt Wagner, do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, third time is the charm. So,
yeah, I've been having a lot of technical issues over here and on track, as you can see.
Yep. Well, after twice of getting robbed of it, it's finally happened. You've won here at Donington after 50 laps of intense racing. Run us through it.
Well, after I set sail for a couple of laps, and then after lap 3, and then when I spun it, regroup, refocus, run my lines, focus up, and before you know it, 50 laps later, somehow I have no idea what happened to Alex because he was blazing fast. I ended up in the lead and took home the win, and I'll take it.
Well, we can actually tell you what happened to Alex. While he was in the lead, he got wrecked by a lap car that had spun off the track, and then later in the race, he had to avoid a driver trying to rejoin the track and almost ended up flipping the car over. But anyways, Matt, like Thomas mentioned, for the past 2 races now, you've been in positions to win. You haven't been able to get it done. Does that make this win any more special?
does. It gets that dang monkey off my damn back and watch it fly off out the window.
Yeah.
Oh no. I had like my moment last week in the pits, and I almost did it again last week. Remember last week I went over 20 miles an hour over? Yeah, I remember that, and then I tried not to do it again the very last stop, and I nailed it.
Yeah, I can tell you on one of your stops, your exact speed went down to, I believe it was 6 miles an hour. So
Yes.
you got it right. You were 31 miles an hour.
I'm not doing that again.
You did well then to slow it down. But yeah, so you were saying just how fast Alexander Van der Sant was in this race. Do you reckon that without the calamities that happened to him throughout this race, you would have been able to challenge him, or was this pretty much going to be his race?
No, I say he probably his race. He is blazing fast. I'll give him 100% props. He is a very fast road course driver. I learned we heard him in the practice sessions. I was sitting there watching his lines, and man, that qualifying lap, whew, I couldn't even touch that. That was fast.
Yeah, definitely. You ran a really good race, Matt. Huge congratulations on the win. Next up, we're going to bring up your champion of Season 2, Nick DeGroot. Matt, thank you for joining us. And now, joining us up in the broadcast booth, driver of the number 89, Nick DeGroot. Nick, you are officially the Dark Horse Indycar Series Season 2 champion. What are your thoughts right now, and how do you feel?
Hey guys, feels great, especially to clinch at a race early so we can just go to Indy and have some fun there. But yeah, it's been a crazy season, joining this league late, winning right off the bat, and then realizing quite quickly, oh wait, we got a shot at a championship here. So it's been a hell of a season. I believe we've only had one race that was outside the top 5, which is just remarkable with the great drivers you have in this league. But yeah, today, you probably saw the way I was racing there at the end with Alexander. My whole thing was just get to the finish, because I'm not the best road course racer, and I just wanted to stay mistake-free and to bring home a podium at both road courses this year and lock up the championship. It's pretty cool. Can't wait to go to Indy and try to win that thing.
I mean, absolutely.
Yep.
Really, throughout the entire season, you've almost been perfect every race. There were a couple of races with a few minor slip-ups, but you were able to recover from them very, very much quickly. What do you think was the point of the season where you kind of realized that you had a genuine shot? Because I know that you said at some point you realized it. Where do you think that kind of clicked?
I was probably after the second race when I got that second win, and I saw that I was like 4th in points, 15 points out. I'm like, oh, okay, so this is real. This is going to be a real opportunity. So I have to say the only thing that probably was good for me, though, was that my teammate joined a little later because we saw what he was able to do, and I think he would have been a legitimate shot for the title as well. So it was a great season. Happy to get the title. I want to end it with an Indy 500 one.
Yep, you were just talking about the Indy 500 there. Are you going there with the attitude now of, there's no risk. I have the championship locked up. I'm just going to go there and I'm going to put absolutely everything and just try not to end up in the outside wall?
Absolutely. That's going to be the whole goal there. Victory or Valhalla, I like to say. We're going to win that race, or something's going to happen trying. So.
Yeah, and also I'm currently staring at the factory-backed Instagram. By the way, everyone, do go follow them. And there hasn't yet been a celebration post. Can we be expecting that?
You can very much be expecting that. We got some cool shots there during the race, and at the end there, Covey pulled up while I was doing some celebratory burnouts. And yeah, you're definitely going to have an Instagram post tonight. I can guarantee you that.
Yep, so definitely everyone go follow Factory Backed on Instagram as well, TMG_racing. Don't forget to follow us there as well. And I believe it is the same on Twitter. But now, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much, Nick. We're going to bring up second place finisher in Alexander Van der Sant.
And obviously, huge congratulations. I mean, great season. You gave us a lot of entertaining moments, and we'll see you next week at Indy.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Okay, bringing up Alexander Van der Sant. And why is Nick back? Okay.
Wrong guy, Thomas, wrong guy.
Hey, Alex, it's Thomas up at the TNG broadcast booth. You got me?
I got you, yeah.
Yeah, super, super disappointing. Relatively speaking, race for you there. You were absolutely dominant for most of the race, but we saw your race pretty much got ruined twice or three times by lapped cars there. Just run us through what happened.
Yeah, there were two incidents. One of them I could have avoided much better. But yeah, the first one was just bad luck. Somebody spun. I had nowhere to go. Completely caved in my right front tire. It was actually drivable. Luckily, I didn't have to tow at least. And then, yeah, later on, there was an issue at the chicane where I saw it right at the last second, and then I locked the brakes, and then I went into the gravel. The curve was much bigger than I expected there. So probably could have handled that one a bit better. But yeah, overall, it was fun. Really awesome track, really awesome setup. So yeah, just disappointed how it ended.
Yeah, Alex, I mean, we saw really towards the end of the race there that you were able to get back in the lead some laps, and you might even have a shot at it. Did you ever think that you might actually be able to fight back for the win?
Not really. I knew, because I was going to be a pit stop behind, so I just needed to put in, just do as fast laps as I possibly could, and then maybe, possibly at the end, I could be close to the leaders. And I got Nick, but yeah, Matt was just fast, and I think I took some damage as well from that incident at the chicane, so I just didn't have the pace in the last 5 or 6 laps.
Yeah, super unfortunate, as we've just said for you there. Do you think that without those incidents, you would have just been had a pretty easy win on your hands, or do you reckon it probably would have been a fight towards the end with Matt?
It might have been a fight. Matt definitely had pace in the back half of that race, but yeah, I was just trying to take it easy, keep it clean for myself, and then yeah, just got some bad luck.
Yep, and finally, can you tell us how it felt to become a Saturn V rocket at the end there? I'm not necessarily talking about when you were flying. I was more talking about the fact of just how much pace you had in the last 7 laps of that race.
Yeah, no, it was good. So I wasn't actually as fast in the last few laps. It was before I had that incident, I was setting fastest laps, which felt pretty good. I mean, as I said, the setup was fantastic. So props to whoever makes them. And yeah, I think I got a pretty good air in the gravel trap at the end there.
Well, Alex, Thank you for joining us. Very unfortunate about the way your race ended, but you definitely showed a lot of pace. Honestly, I don't think there's anything to be ashamed of. Great race, great season, and hopefully we'll see you back next week at Indy.
Cool. Yeah, thank you, guys.
Now, unfortunately, we did get to interview the champion this season, but there's always 2 sides to every story, and now I'm going to have to bring up Craig Forsythe into the broadcast booth, who he was a championship contender, but towards the end, maybe just didn't quite have the pace. Craig, you join us up in the TMG broadcast booth. You got us? We'll try it again. Craig, you join us up in the TMG broadcast booth. This is Jonathan Oates. You got us?
I do.
Well, it was definitely a strong season for you guys. You were able to come home second in the points, but unfortunately you weren't really able to make a charge at the championship there at the end. What do you think was the difference between you and Nick throughout the season?
Oh, Nick is more consistent than I am, and overall he's faster than I am. It's as simple as that.
Well, that's definitely a very good way of looking at it. Thomas, you got anything?
Yeah, I do actually. Tonight in this race, you said last time out that you were probably going to be pretty fast at this road course. Are you disappointed in hindsight, looking back now on your race, what happened? Do you think you could have had more pace, or was there just not really time to practice or something like that?
No, I was 3rd fastest and faster than Nick, so yeah, I'm disappointed.
I'm not sure if that was sarcastic.
No, that was the truth.
All right.
Well, anyways, thank you for joining us. I mean, it was definitely a strong season, and we look forward to seeing you back at Indy and back for Season 3.
Oh, I'll be back. Oh, yeah, no worries. I had a fun season. It was just a disappointing ending, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, well, thank you very much, Craig.
It always feels kind of rough doing these post-race interviews. I mean, it's always fun when you get like a leader and a winner and a champion to interview. I know last season we messed up on the broadcast absolutely terribly, but it was definitely fun to interview some of the championship contenders. And this season, I mean, I think it's gotten a ton more competitive. You've seen a lot of more fast drivers in here, and it's definitely bittersweet to go from interviewing the winner to going to second place and just asking them kind of where it went wrong. But I mean, in the end, it's part of racing, and I think that this series has definitely been kind of the epitome of all that. We've seen winners, losers throughout the season, a lot of drama, a lot of action, It's been a really fun time going over this first season with you, or going over this first full-time season we've had on the channel with all the viewers, all the admins. It's been a great time. And Thomas, I don't know if you're going to be commentating for Indy, but I'm definitely excited to actually get the first full-length Indianapolis 500 on this channel.
I'm sure I'll be able to pop in for a few races, but on that subject, next weekend I am participating in the RSRWS McMillan race against Cancer, 12 hours of Daytona. It's GT1 and LMP2 cars, the old LMP2 cars, the HPDs. So, and the link to that stream will be posted on all of our socials, or it'll be my stream. Will be posted on all of our socials as well, linked, I believe, on the YouTube if anyone wants to come say hello, and if you can, donate, because it really is a great cause that we are racing for.
Yep, you can go watch Thomas race, donate to the cause, and if you want, you can watch Thomas win, crash, or finish not winning. So, you know what? Let me know how that goes, Thomas. But anyways, that is going to do it for the Dark Horse Indycar Series Race 10 here at Donington. Next Saturday, December the 19th at 12 p.m. Eastern will be the full-length Indianapolis 500 with the IR18. Definitely a lot of stuff to look forward to. I am secretly excited to see a bunch of cars crashing with the new damage model. I really like the new damage model, so that'll be kind of fun to watch. But more importantly, we should get a very good race in. It'll be very fun to get the first full-length race on this channel. 100% race, I should say. So, Thomas, before we sign out, you got anything else?
Nope, that's pretty much it, except for, in fact, the Season 3 schedule, the second we can confirm with the admins we're allowed to share it with all of you guys, will go up in a community post on YouTube. I will be putting it on the Instagram, so do go and follow us, TMG_racing.
And I'll be putting it on Twitter, TMG_racing. I have to promote both sides, Thomas.
Yes, I was getting there. Yeah, so on that note, I believe that will be it for tonight. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. And my name is Thomas Fisher, alongside Jonathan Oates, and we will catch you on the flip side.
Yes, we will. Goodbye, everybody.
Have a good one.